Pixel 6 Pro is finally in the lab for testing, and like I stated in my community post, I didn't want to waste you guys' time doing a whole unboxing or anything like that, just because nowadays we're lucky if manufacturers give us much of anything in the box. Seriously, something that definitely needs to change in 2022, spending all this money on these phones anyway. But like I said, I don't want to waste you guys' time with going through that, so we're going to skip ahead and go right into my first 24 hours with the Google Pixel 6 Pro. And let me tell you guys, it's been quite the 24 hours. But before we get into the video, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, this is Ike's Tech Talk, where we cover the latest in tech news, reviews, and discussion. If that's something that you're interested in, do yourself a favor, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So kicking things off and getting right into the first thing you're gonna notice, and that I noticed myself, and that was the updated design. Now, last year with the Pixel 5, we got something that seemed more of a function over form, but this year, in my opinion, Google took it to the next level, and they're trying to offer you a truly premium build quality and just overall more premium experience with the design on the Google Pixel 6 Pro. In my opinion, it's something reminiscent of, say, a Note 20 Ultra from the front. It has like those boxy edges, which I absolutely love from the Note line. And then on the back, think of a Nexus 6P with that kind of visor camera bump. Either way, like I said, it looks absolutely outstanding. Doesn't rock on a table either, so it's always good to see when you have that back symmetrical, so you have to worry about when you're tapping on the device or typing while it's sitting on a table, it's rocking or anything like that. So like I said, I'm definitely a fan of this design. I just can't wait to see what Google does in terms of iterating on it next year. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the second thing that grabbed my attention right away, and that was the performance in just real time and real world usage. Coming into their own brand new chip with Google Tensor, there were a lot of things that concerned me in regards to if Google was going to be able to fully optimize the chip. Up until this point, they've always used Qualcomm chips, and they've been able to get a ton of power and a ton of great performance out of not having much in terms of the chipset. So now that they're making their own processor, I was really curious to see how that was going to translate to opening apps, things like that. And to be 100% honest, if you didn't tell me that this wasn't a Snapdragon processor, I wouldn't be able to tell you that it wasn't, or that it's Google's own processor. I know people look at benchmarks, but you already know here we go strictly off of real world performance. And in my first 24 hours of testing this particular device, I have been thoroughly impressed with how smooth and how responsive the device feels. Not only does it feel smooth and responsive due to Google's optimizations and just the overall fluidity that Google's known for in terms of their phones, but they also bumped up the display from 90 Hz on the Pixel 5 to 120 Hz on the Pixel 6 Pro. So you're getting just a little bit more in terms of refresh rate, but all of those little things come together to just make an overall great package in terms of device performance. I didn't notice any type of lag or hiccups or anything like that using this particular device. It loaded Pokemon Go up just as fast as what I'm normally used to it doing. My Twitter feed felt just as fluid as it did on any of my other Android devices. So like I said, first 24 hours impressions of this processor from just like a real world performance standpoint, absolutely outstanding. Next, I don't really like to talk battery too much just because I've only had the device for a day. So I can't give you guys a fair estimate of the battery, but like I said, I was impressed to the point where I do want to mention it. So I went ahead, loaded in all my applications when I finally got it home and unboxed it, and I charged the device back up to 100% because I knew me and the missus were gonna be going out to Halloween Horror Nights for the evening. Yes, we go there quite a bit. This is already our second time, and we probably will go again before it's done. But I charged the device up to 100% before we left. We left the house at about 4:30, and the device didn't die on me until 1:30 in the morning. Now, you might say, okay, that's not fully 12 hours or whatever the case may be. But keep in mind, if you're going to somewhere like Halloween Horror Nights, you're taking a ton of pictures and videos, everything. So like I said, the fact that it lasted me that long on the first charge, 100% unoptimized because the phone hasn't learned my usage yet, it was able to last me that long with me taking a ton of, like I said, pictures, videos, using the device for GPS to get there, using GPS to get home. Also playing a ton of Pokemon Go, which if you play Pokemon Go, you know how much of a battery drain it is. The device held up really, really great. So like I said, this is nothing conclusive in terms of the battery. I just wanted to share with you guys my experience because I thought that that was extremely impressive. So the last thing I want to touch on going over my first 24 hours has to be the camera set. Now, I'm not going to get into anything conclusive or go super in depth or anything like that because like I said, I've only had the device for 24 hours. But I can already tell you in terms of this camera set, Google has definitely stepped up from the Pixel 5. I went ahead and snuck in some camera footage and just some camera comparison versus the Pixel 5, so I'll go ahead and throw that across the screen. That way you guys can see that here in just a little bit. But like I said, in terms of the camera set, Google has absolutely killed it so far. Now, I haven't started the smartphone comparisons or anything like that, so we'll see how it holds up to the big boys on the block, the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the S21 Ultra. So if you're excited for those videos, you know how we do. They're always blind, non-biased comparisons. Hit that subscribe button. That way you guys don't miss that video when I go ahead and push those out. But in terms of what I can already gather from the camera system, Google not only took it up a notch with their hardware, because obviously the hardware is re-engineered through and through, but even on the software side, I'm noticing some differences too. So from here, I'll go ahead and just shut my mouth, let you guys see the footage. I got some photo shots for you, and I got some video, because video was a big thing this year with the Pixel. And let me just give you a slight spoiler warning. Google definitely stepped up their game in terms of video, but here's the footage, guys. Alright guys, so here we are. We have the Pixel 6 Pro versus the Pixel 5 front-facing video. Finally, man, I mentioned in my Pixel 5 Revisited how much I wanted a 4K or wanted 4K resolution on the selfie camera. Google did deliver that at 4K 60. Or 4K 30, I'm sorry, 4K 30. I would have liked to see 4K 60 as well, but kind of is what it is. As y'all can see, it's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to get this quick for you guys. Also, the Pixel 5, take a look too. The Pixel 5 is actually cropped in quite a bit more than the Pixel 6. That was another issue I had, so good to see that they did take care of that too. But in terms of this video, man, like take a look, like right there, look at that tree. Let me see if I can get it for you guys that way. Look how much more color that has on the Pixel 6 Pro. Like overall, man, like video took a huge leap forward between the 5 and the 6 Pro. So definitely happy with this, man.
wallet's in the bag, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't someone to buy me drinks today.
I mean, got the same card, so it's fine.
No, I mean like my ID.
Oh.
So those were the comparison between the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 6 Pro. Now I'm just gonna go through some photos that I took specifically with the Pixel 6 Pro. I took some ultra wide, some normal wide, and a couple of telephoto. And let me tell you, Google's doing something serious with that 4x telephoto lens. But here's a few photos, guys. So that's been my first 24 hours with the Google Pixel 6 Pro. And I gotta say, just based off of my first 24 hours with the device, it's been a long time since I've been this excited to bring you guys coverage on a particular device. Google is really crossing a new paradigm shift for themselves. They have their own brand new chip, so they're kind of forging their own path and forging their own destiny. So I'm really excited to be on the journey with them, because keep in mind, this is not going to be a sprint. We have to see how this Tensor chip is going to hold up over time. We have to see what software updates look like, because just because the device seems super great, there obviously are some things that need to be ironed out. So this type of coverage is never a sprint. This is definitely going to be a journey. So like I said, guys, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything in terms of the Pixel 6 Pro, whether that be my week review, whether that be camera comparisons, or you already know we got to do the case journey. I can already tell you guys right now, this is gonna be the most extensive I've ever gotten with the amount of cases that I have for this particular device already. So, like I said, guys, you don't wanna miss out on the coverage for the Google Pixel 6 Pro. But that's gonna do it for the video today. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is Ike'sTechTalk. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.